In Japan. This is Naramachi guest house where I'll spend the next 3 to 4 days. I'm just walking around the block behind my Naramachi guest house. Funky looking old building. Hopefully, again, it's not that old. I think this is just an elegant entrance to this home. So we're going into a machiya, and a machiya is a old combination, it's okay, combination residence and workplace for individuals, and they're characterized by being quite narrow. The reason they're narrow is because taxes were measured on the width of a building, and so consequently you made them very narrow. By analogy, in Puno, Peru, or in the rest of Peru, taxes are lower if you do not finish the building. In fact, I don't think there's any tax on the building until it's finished. So nobody finishes the building. And the top of all the buildings have rebar sticking straight up. What she just showed me is, and here you have a small door that she just opened up. This panel slides. But when he wants to open up for business, we'll close that. Lock that down, then this whole door panel swings up and locks in place like that. Very clever. Arigatou gozaimasu. He could then not only have air but also have his business conducted through these doors. Here are the lovely sliding panels. My guess is the weather here is such that it's more comfortable too to have these panels on the exterior, but notice that there were also panels on the exterior as well as. So now we enter into his tea room and into the house. Notice the dimensions. Here's my height, and this gives you an idea. Again, the thing you like about these, not only long and narrow, but notice how you get these long vistas through the rooms when you open up all these sliding panels. Interesting little cabinet. Notice there's a little door right there that hinges open, as well as these sliding drawers.
Hot water.
Yes, yes.
Sake.
Ah, sake.
Wow.
Ah, yes. Very good. And then this works like a stove for heat.
シガレットね。これは何だろうな。はい。これは何だろう。はい。シガレットとかも大丈夫と思います。
Here what we've seen in the castle, a furniture piece, if you will. Here more substantially built in, but stairway and furniture combination makes a lot of sense. We sometimes use them as closets. That's by analogy the same. This looks like an incense burner, and perhaps it is. Those look like ashes down inside there. Perhaps they are. Here a lovely chest of drawers. Simple, but knowing the Japanese, it's well designed and well built. Reinforced on the metal with these pretty corners and along the sides. This would have been analogous to us having a photograph or a painting on the wall. Remember, they sat on mats on the floor normally, so those tables being low are appropriate. This also here used for a flower vase, but in fact that's also a feeding tray. So your wife might bring you dinner on that tray. Since you're lying down anyway, that's fine. I just don't know if these are tea bowls or rice bowls, or maybe even sake bowls, I don't know. Here this drawing gives an idea that there were at least 3 typical designs. My guess is that that wall there and either this wall here or that wall there jutting out is or was the dimension of this house. Notice these sliding panels could be used to close off all of this area if you chose to. What this room would have been used for, I don't know. But remember, rooms are measured and defined by the number of tatami pads that are on the floor. Here's the typical layout of a typical little neighborhood, if you will. A few houses. An aerial view of what we've just seen. Now it looks like this is illustrating a kitchen. That's the stove off to the right. May also imply, I'm not sure, a second story. And I'm guessing, although indecipherable to us at this point, probably a map of this Naramachi neighborhood, which one at a time probably stood out quite distinctly from others. This may indicate a typical frontage within the neighborhood. A purification pedestal, if you will. Okay, this did have a second floor. Would be interesting to know what the square footage of this house is, because I'm sure that it's not too far off from my condo. And yet, the spaces seem more desirable, but similar. What's interesting to notice too is the construction here, the same relatively rough logs made to work, as well as finished wood for getting in the more precise, also for the work or the business. Apparently, the building did extend out to this farthest wall. There's the kitchen with the classic stove. And who knows what all of this area might have been used for. In detail, notice the windows are on vertical sliders, if you will, with ropes that haul them up and make it easy for you to get ventilation on these upper floors by, again, pulling on the ropes. That's clever. Now we're looking down on the stove, as well as this perhaps a diagonal flagpole. You wonder if this step into that living room, or whatever that room is, wasn't in fact a bench. Because if it's not a bench and it was supposed to be a step, why didn't they make it just half that total length, height, and then it would split the step and the overall distance in half. Here the ropes are just a loop length, and then you adjust how much window you want open by how far down you pull the rope. You could probably put it here and leave the window less open. So there'd be the pot that you would cook on. Probably that pot can come out of there also. Much, much heavier, that lid. A little bit smaller pot. This may have been their cistern or well. Yep. Interesting. Style bathroom. Wow. This miniature origami? I think so. Works like a top, see? Oh, she does it better. Pretty clever. This is what the outside of such a house looked like. House and business place. Now it's been somewhat modified with toilet, and that probably is where you could have parked a car. Don't think they... So the detail on this part door, part shelving is that metal resting point for, or whatever that's for. It's